Hi, I'm John Hart, and welcome back to Mr. America Hart. Today's another fun show for you. Today, I'm giving out the Best Body Part Awards for the Golden Era. This time, it's for the legs and the abs. So, I'm going to get right into it, okay? This era was special. It was from the years from 1967 to around 1980. And so, I'm looking at the bodies that were at their peak during those years in particular. So, there were plenty of guys that had great body parts immediately afterwards, immediately before that, but I'm sticking to that era specifically because it's so special to so many people. So let's start off with the abs. So the abdominal area, my pick for the best abdominals overall, that is, as far as having great raviolis right down the middle, nice small waist, small oblique, highly defined, Serge Nubret. Serge Nubret. Multi-Olympia competitor, Mr. Universe, World International competitor. Serge had it all. And that tiny waist of his, you'll see in every pose that he hit, any pose that he hit, it just set his physique off just right. It wasn't just a small, genetically small waist, but it also had amazing definition and development of each muscle in the abdominal area, from front to side and even to his lower back. So I have to go with Serge Nubret. That's my personal pick. Honorable mention right here, right now. I'm going to name two guys. Honorable mention. Number one you're going to expect, Szabo Koszewski. Szabo in the Golden Era was a training partner in Southern California of a lot of the top stars at the time. He was not really a pro bodybuilder, but he was a top amateur competitor, winning the Mr. California and competing in the Mr. America, Mr. USA. Szabo had amazing ravioli abs. And those things, not quite as small as far as the waist goes like Serge Nubret. Not quite as developed in the upper body as Serge Nubret. So it didn't really set off his physique so well. But yet, those abs were amazing. And in every pose that he hit, in any pose that he hit, it was all about the abs. When they needed somebody for a best abs article, they reached out to Szabo. So that's what was happening at the time. The second person I want to give an honorable mention to, Pierre van den Steen. Pierre van den Steen was a competitor, an international competitor at the time, on the scene in Southern California for a while as well. We see a lot of black and white pictures of him here and there. Again, highlighting this small waist, these wild, amazingly ripped abs with thin skin, razor sharp abdominals. So growing up through that era in bodybuilding, me in particular, meaning just after the Golden Era, so it was still in the magazines quite a bit. I saw several pictures of Pierre van den Steen. I recognized him as being the abdominal guy myself. So I'm a little bit partial to that. So I'm going with another honorable mention for Pierre van den Steen. Now, let's get into the legs. I'm going to give you the three major muscle groups, and then I'm going to give an overall, as far as the best legs overall. First of all, I want to tell you why I'm not picking who had the best glutes of this era. Well, prior to Rich Gaspari brought out ripped, shredded glutes, and that wasn't until 1984-ish. So that was after the Golden Era. During the Golden Era, the posing trunks, even if there were ripped up glutes, well-developed glutes, those things were covered by the posing trunks. So I'm not going to include that in this group, okay? So during the Golden Era, we're going to go first with quads. Man, oh man, let me think. Who would have the best quads of the Golden Era? Yes, Tom Platz, okay? Just flat out, let's just say it, Tom Platz. Were they peaked as far as the ultimate size they would gain? No. Were they peaked as far as the ultimate level of definition, separation, striation, all of that during the Golden Era? No. But his quads were head and shoulders, eons, light years ahead of anybody at that time. During the Golden Era, the development of the quads was not so hot. They didn't really go for big quads at the time. Remember, I said that as I go on now, okay? So I give it to Tom Platz. Quad development, amazing shape, amazing size, amazing definition, amazing everything. Strength even. Just crazy, wild. He was amazing in his quads. All right, here we move on now. Hamstrings. Hamstrings. I know you're probably thinking, Tom Platz again. Tom's hamstrings, they didn't really peak out until later on, right at the end of the golden era as you moved on into the 80s. So I have to go with who had the best hamstrings throughout the 80s, Robbie Robinson. Check it out. There's a surprise for you, I'm sure. Robbie's hamstrings, in any pose from the side, he had this bowing, this curve that hung out the back of his leg on the back double bicep shot. The back rear lat spread as well. Those hamstrings were highly developed and striated. I mean, defined the whole thing. Even well into his 60s and 70s, he still had amazing hamstrings. So I'm giving that one to Robbie Robinson, professional IFBB, professional bodybuilder. You've heard of Robbie, I'm sure. Let me move on. Calves. Boy, Tom Platz had great calves, but he was not having the best calves, his best calves, during that golden era. These two came on with him later on, just after the golden era. So up through 1980, I'm going with, for the majority of the golden era, I have to go with two guys, Kenny Waller and Roger Collard. Kenny Waller was an IFBB professional bodybuilder, Mr. America, Mr. Universe. Roger Collard competed in the Mr. America. He did well in Mr. America as well as Mr. Universe. He was a training partner of Arnold Schwarzenegger's. Both of them had fully developed calves, full developed gastrocnemius, soleus, tibia. These things were weird looking on these guys at the time. But let's keep in mind, in the golden era, big calves, they were cherished, man. Those were things that the guys wanted. They saw a guy like Arnold walking around, who Arnold, by the way, had some pretty big calves himself. And I'll even put a picture up here to show you not just how big Arnold's calves were, but sitting next to Kenny Waller, the difference in size. Kenny Waller's calves, they outshined Arnold's calves. I mean, they were massive and they were more defined. So I give the calves to Kenny Waller and Roger Collard. Now, drum roll, please. Drum roll. Who am I giving the best overall legs to? Let's get back to my reasoning. The golden era. What was the ideal of the golden era? The ideal at that time was big calves. The ideal was shapely, ripped up quads and hamstrings, well developed. The ideal was not having the legs overshadow the upper body. That was the ideal in the golden era. Talk to any of the guys, they'll tell you. That's what they went for. So, based on that alone, I'm going with 1974 Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold in 1974 had amazing leg development. He was at his peak size-wise as well. Those things were separated, ripped, full, shapely, every aspect of his leg from hip all the way down to his ankle with small joints. So, overall, while I don't consider Arnold to be a leg guy, and while he's not famous for his legs, mainly his upper body overshadowed his legs so much that no one really gave him maximum credit for those legs. I am calling it out and saying he did develop in 1974, right in the middle of that golden era. He had the best leg development, as Mr. Olympia as well. I have to give him the nod right there. So, those are my body part award winners for the best body parts in the legs and the abs through the golden era. Listen, before you go, let me know what you think down below in the comments section. I want to hear who you believe had the best abdominals, the best quads, the best hamstrings, the best calves, and the best overall legs in the golden era from 1967 straight through to 1980. Hit me down below with those comments. And before you leave, off to your right, you have a red subscribe button. If you're liking these videos that I'm knocking out, please hit that red subscribe button. And off to your left, you got a thumbs up over there. Hit the video with a thumbs up, won't you? It'll help the channel out a lot. That's it for today. From my heart to you, John Hart. See you next time. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe below and feel free to comment on this video.